Hello, friends. I totally forgot that it is office hours right now. So I am about 28 minutes late. So sorry about that. But excited to do office hours right now. So if you've never been to office hours before, let me briefly explain what's going to happen right now. So office hours is your chance to get my help, ask questions, all of that. I get questions throughout the week on a regular basis. And so it's just nice to have a single time when I'm able to answer people's questions. So yeah, the questions are asked in the Zoom meeting if you join the Zoom or in Discord. Here, let me just grab this right here. There we go. I give priority to people who are in the Zoom, but yeah, definitely happy to answer people's questions in here. Let me see. Did I answer this question? I don't think I did. I don't remember seeing this question. Huh, yeah, I think I totally skipped over this person somehow. Yeah, so sorry about that. Answering this now. Sorry, I missed this last time. Okay. I'm trying to detect if a user has visited my website with cookie session storage. Oh yeah, I think we did. I think I did answer this one. Sorry, delete. I hope that didn't bother you. Yeah, pretty sure we addressed that, but I don't recall this one. Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Okay, good. Run. Answering this one now. And was it Tehran who did this, or oh no, somebody else? Okay. Wanted to start a remix meetup. Oh, great. This is great. Awesome. So looks like Tehran is coming maybe to the Zoom, so I'll wait to answer this one. Okay, as far as following Epic, answering this now, you might be watching. If you're following Epic Web, be my guest. You're more than welcome to follow along in building the app. It's not exactly the biggest value for your time because it's just super raw, and a lot of things will change. So I am not offering help. I'm sorry. I don't have time to help other people with this right now. If you really want to get help with that and you're working on it, then I suggest going to the Remix Discord and asking there, because I just don't have time to dive into the problems you might be having. That said, I do office hours every week for a reason, and that's so that I can help people if they run into issues. And so if you want to join the Zoom call and share your screen, then maybe we will have time to work through this. All right, Tehran is here. Am I saying your name right?
It's Taryn, like tearing it up.
Taryn. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, let's tear it up, Taryn. So you want to start a meetup?
Yeah, I'm interested in getting into the remix one or starting one here because as far as I know, we don't have one in Vancouver. And the meetup scene is actually kind of dead in Vancouver, BC.
You think people are like, is it dead because people don't care about meetups, or is it dead because nobody's putting them on?
I think it's a combination of the two. I mean, the pandemic obviously didn't help that much,
Yeah.
but the other kind of part of it is uh there's not a lot being hosted. Like there's one that happens every month for React,
Mm.
but that's kind of it from what I can see
Mm.
in the front end space.
Yeah, cool. Well, when I was still at Remix, my job was helping get all of these meetups going. And so I can tell you what the process was when I left, and I'm pretty sure that there's still a process there now. So Um, yeah, we've got meetups going, and most of the, or maybe half of these are actively meeting every month. So we just love to get a little dot up there for you. The closest one for you, I think, and this map is kind of funny because they're saying San Francisco's there, but I don't think that is. Yeah, we're a bit off there.
Okay.
But yeah, so the closest one to you is probably San Francisco, or I'm not sure. Vancouver's somewhere around here, right? But
Yeah.
not really close. So, and there are some online ones that you can, or some of these like will meet online. I know the Austin meetup, they always do live stream and stuff. But yeah, if you want to start your own, that's awesome. The way that process works is actually, you know what? I bet I can find it because I kind of forgot. So I'm going to need to remind myself really quick. And let me just move this over just in case. I
Mhm.
don't think I'm going to see anything that's not public, but you never know. Let me find, I've got a, where's the meetups? Archived meetups, yeah. So there's this archived meetups channel, and in
Oh,
here
yeah.
we've got threads, and yeah, here it is. These were the instructions at the time, and I will grab a link to this
Awesome.
uh,
Thanks.
so that we can easily access this. Okay, so this was the process when I was in charge of it. So first you want to find a location to host it. There, I'm just going to copy this into our office hours, and then you don't have to worry about it, about looking over here. So here's what I said when I was in charge. I'm not anymore. So yeah, where it says reach out to me and Kent at Remix, yeah, that's not going to work anymore. So what I would suggest is before you go too far down this path, you would reach out to probably Michael, or maybe Chance might be helping with this, and they can help get you onboarded. But the basic idea is you find a place to meet up, create an account on meetup.com, create a group, and then yeah, create a form to accept proposals, schedule the first meetup, and then email probably Michael to get a ticket link to add your meetup to the meetup dashboard.
Mhm.
And that gets your subscription fee refunded. If the fee is a problem for you, then you might double check with Michael first to make sure that that he's still doing this. I think the acquisition by Shopify kind of changed some of that stuff. So it could be that Shopify's like not interested in paying those fees anymore. But I mean, they didn't kick these people off, so they are still paying for these meetups. And I think they probably should still do that. But yeah, that's how it works. Is you pay the fee and then get or refunded when you add it to the pro account here. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the process. It is fun. I go to the Utah meetup almost every month. I handed that off to somebody else to organize that because I can't always make it, but it's always great when we do go. So and actually, now that talking about this, I think, okay, I'm not sure about this, but I think that I know somebody in Vancouver. Let me see if she actually is in Vancouver. No, she's in Calgary. That's right. So
That's a little far off from me.
yeah, Canada, you all know each other, right? No, I was gonna say because I believe she runs events and stuff too, and so I was gonna connect you with her, but yeah, not the same place. So yeah. Anyway, any other questions about the meetup?
Um, no, it's pretty straightforward. I think I did ask like a follow-up question, like in your experience, what's separated like a bad meetup from a good meetup?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to think of like examples of bad meetups. I don't really have many examples of bad meetups because the real benefit of a meetup is just being able to go to a place and talk with other people. So as long as you get people there, then that's great. The um, I mean, I don't even care about the food as much. Like the big joke about meetups is they always just bring pizza and that's, not good food. It's cold pizza or something. And like, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to, get some variety there, but I'm pretty much just there to be able to talk with people and have a venue for me to practice talks and stuff like that too. But some meetups that are like really good are where the speakers are well prepared and it's not all just beginner stuff all the time. Probably a good mix is appropriate, especially for remix because it's so new for a lot of people. I mean, it's not really that new. It's like 2 years old now. It's yeah, in fact, it's a year and a half since well, not quite a year and a half. Like is it? It's been a while. Remix isn't brand new, but there are a lot of people who don't have experience with it yet. So having a mix of beginner and advanced stuff would be good. One thing that I've noticed is that meetups draw a lot of beginners, and it's harder to pull experienced developers to meetups. And so having some more advanced topics is really useful. The biggest thing that you're going to struggle with as a meetup organizer is getting people to speak. And that is just a constant struggle for unless you're in San Francisco, because I've been to a meetup in San Francisco and it's hopping. Like there are meetups everywhere in San Francisco, but yeah, not so much outside of there. So yeah, you will spend quite a bit of not a lot of time, but just like you'll be thinking about it regularly, and it's just an every month thing. You're going to be trying to get somebody to speak. This is actually okay if you're willing to fill in when you need to, like kind of is a forcing function for you to just be like, well, nobody signed up, so you're going to hear from me again. And that's, I think that's actually fine. But yeah, you do want to try and get people to make it a really good meetup. Yeah, you definitely want to have the food. You want to get people there. And one meetup that we had here in Utah that was pretty fun was a hackathon where he split us up into 3 different groups of like 4 people. Maybe there were more than 3. And gave some like had a list of suggested apps that you could build, and then said like, go build one of these or come up with your own idea. And so we just paired 4 of us, and it was pretty fun. We built a little chat app that it was just like a 45-minute thing. So stuff like that could be fun. This last meetup, I went up and talked about caching for an hour, which was pretty interesting and fun. So anyway, there you go.
Thanks. That's all really helpful.
Cool. All right. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. Okay, so let's continue here. Kirandash, thanks for the final manage understand not wrapped in app. Sweet. Yeah, that thing's super annoying, but yeah, I'm glad that you figured that out. I was checking if there's any way to mock WebSockets using MSW. Seems like it's not possible at the moment. That is correct. Not currently. Artem is busy with his own life and his own work, and said that he needs about 2 months to solve the WebSockets problem, and just can't find that time without being paid full-time to do it, which I think would be sweet if he could get paid to do MSW full-time, or at least some big company that cares a lot about WebSockets should just sponsor him for 2 months to do that. That would be an enormous benefit to the entire web ecosystem. So if you work for a big company that cares about WebSockets, think about approaching Artem about that. Seems not, yeah. Okay. So mocking WebSockets. Here's what I would do. I hate this so much, but I would make a module that is responsible for all WebSocket communication, and then I'd mock the module. That's it. That's all I would do. Try to make that module as minimal as possible, does as little as possible, because when you mock it, you have no security knowing that it actually works. And so you want it to be as simple as possible. And then another thought is to make sure that you have something like covering the end-to-end or the integration of that. So something that actually uses the WebSocket would be a good idea too. But as far as the lower level tests that you don't want to actually have the WebSocket server running and stuff, module that does all the WebSocket stuff, mock the module, and that's it. Yeah, no fun, but good luck. Okay, Shopify Remix was present at the Seattle JS meetup just a week ago. Yes, I actually heard about that. I'd be interested in a PNW Remix meetup as well. What is PNW? Where's that? PNW. Pinnacle West Capital Corporation. No, just kidding. Purdue University? Is that what that is? Pacific Northwest. There it is. Aha. So, Taryn, you might have somebody who would come to your meetup just from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I don't know. How far is Seattle from Vancouver?
It's like a 3-hour drive.
Okay, so not something you'd want to do every month, probably.
It depends. I literally drove down to Portland just to have lunch with Jason Langstruff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, it's Jason, so
yeah, he's a cool dude.
yeah, he's pretty awesome. Cool. Well, that looks like that's all the questions from Office Hours. So unless there's anything else, Taryn, do you have any other questions?
I got stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. What do you got?
So there's this really interesting problem we're having at work, where our Jest tests take like an hour to run. And
that's no fun.
Yeah. And the problem that was identified by the team was that essentially that the modules that were being imported in the component tests were ballooning up the heap size. So like there ended up being like 2 or 3 gigabytes. And so the solution was to mock out all the modules that were not like necessary for the subject to render. And I've never had to do this once in my career where I've had to literally mock out like entire components that are used in the body of like the parent component. And I think it's related to barrel files. I'm wondering, have you ever come across this, or how would you approach this situation?
Yeah. Well, barrel files are the worst. I would start with that. I don't use barrel files. In fact, I did use a barrel file recently, just a couple of days ago, and just this morning I removed it because it was causing some problems. And so yeah, I don't recommend barrel files most of the time. But that is a very that's crazy. First of all, that like gigabytes, that something is up. So keep in mind that if it happens in your test, it might happen in your app. And so like the test could be a canary in the coal mine, or is it the coal mine, gold mine, canary in the diamond mine, and whatever. That says, hey, listen, there's actually a problem. So I would maybe look into that, do some heap snapshots and see what in the world is sitting around in memory that's making it grow so big. Because yeah, first of all, like a Jest, how many tests is this? Are we talking hundreds or thousands?
Hundreds, like 700-ish.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of tests, but if we say 700 tests divided by let's see, 60 minutes, that's 11. Wait, no, 60 minutes divided by 700 tests, there, so seconds, so that's 5 seconds per test. That should not be. So yeah, there's something up. If it is that could definitely be caused by memory and garbage collection related issues. So I would investigate that a little further before just deciding to change the way that you're writing tests. Maybe
we just have that band-aid now of just fixing the test. But
yeah, that doesn't sit right with me. Uh,
Can I just add on to the question? You mentioned you don't use like barrel files anymore. All the places I worked, we used barrel files, but then now I've seen why they suck. In your own words, why do you think they're not great?
um, so it's there are a couple of reasons. It's hard to know where things are when you've got barrel files. And so one of the main benefits of a barrel file is that you can the users of the utilities don't have to know what file things are in. That's less of a problem with modern tooling now. I'm guessing you're using TypeScript. Is that the case? Yeah.
Yes.
So you just you type the thing and it adds the import for you, and it's like no big deal. The other thing is without barrel files, you get like these giant number of imports and stuff, and so that can be kind of annoying. Again, our tools can just manage all that for us, so I don't really care about that. Another problem with barrel files, though, is it makes it harder for bundlers to chunk things efficiently. And then the problem I ran into was I had some code that could only work on the server, some code that could only work in the client. And the bundler was resolving module, or they were in the same barrel file. And when the bundler was making the client side build, it had to resolve modules through this stuff that only works in the server. So it's like, hey, sorry, we can't use Node.fs in this client bundle. So that can be a problem too. Yeah, I just like not having these useless files. The other thing is you can override stuff, and so the order of your export star thing can matter.
Yeah, we ran into that actually the other day. That last point you just made, where TypeScript was happy, our tests were passing, but our production bundle was breaking on like one of our pages, and it was like a product page, a pretty big deal. And Webpack was complaining about a module not being defined. And then I just for fun, I just changed up the order of the exports, and that fixed the problem. Obviously, we need to
Yikes.
figure out why that is, but it's kind of scary that the order of your imports and exports can break your app and none of your tooling yells at you. So,
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
okay.
that is disconcerting. So yeah, I would avoid
Okay.
that. And like the other thing is, in particular in your tests, when you're trying to test one thing in isolation, it says, oh, I need this util. And now Jest has to like those exports at runtime, they are going to run, and they'll run the full body of every one of those modules. And so that's another, and that could be part of your problem. I'm really shocked that you could have something that balloons to gigabytes of heap usage. So I would definitely still look into that. But I think your solution is get rid of the barrel files. Don't mock stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. Current Dash seems to be typing something, so I will wait a moment for that to come in. Did you have anything else, Taryn?
We can do Kieran Dash's question. I'll
Oh,
probably
here it
think of
is.
something if we got time.
Ideally, when a dependency package patch is not updated by an npm module. Oh wait, hold on a second. Okay. You use force resolutions, for example, like this. May I know if there is an easy way to check if the dependency has been patched by all the parent packages? At the moment, I manually checked each package to see if their peer dependency has been patched. So when you say patch, are you referring to patch package or not? I'm not positive I understand. I pretty much never use resolutions. I haven't run into the problems that solves yet. I know that it solves like a real problem. I'm not questioning the solution, but just expressing why I may not be able to answer your question very well. Easy way to check if the dependency has been patched by all the parent packages. I don't I don't really understand the question. Sorry. Maybe we can get some more details. We're like 15 seconds ahead of the live stream, which is why joining the Zoom is quite nice. So, but I understand if somebody can't join the Zoom for some reason. That's why we do the Discord too. Oh, if the new version fixes the vulnerability. Yeah, so I would use npm ls, and that will tell you all the versions that are used by all the packages in your repo. Sorry, I just realized I need to respond to somebody very quickly. Let me do this. They just need me to unblock them. Good grief. This will only take a moment. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, looks like that answered the question. So that's good. Great. So with that said, it looks like now we're done in Discord at least. So Taryn, did you have another?
No, I'm sure as I'm working through my migration from Gatsby to Remix, I'll have more questions.
Okay.
I started working on some easier stuff. I'm trying not to think about Redis and data caching and stuff right now.
Okay.
I'll probably see you next week though.
Okay. Yeah, great. Good luck with that. Kieran Dash, you should not need a passcode. I don't know what the passcode would be. You should just be able to click on the link and it should just open up. If that's not working, then I don't know. Yeah, so like this short link that should just pop you up in the meeting. So sorry. Mark TK is asking a question. While the question is being asked, I'll just remind everybody, if you are watching this later and you're like, oh, I missed office hours or whatever, you can always ask in the Discord and I'll get back to it later. Or there's the Call Kent podcast, where you can record a call right in the browser just like this and give me a good title and description and stuff. And yeah, then I will respond and it turns into a podcast episode. And it's awesome. I know that some people are concerned about their accent or their English. I unfortunately do not understand any language but English. But if you are concerned about your accent not being understood or something, sometimes people will just put what they say in the description. So like they'll make a little script, and that is helpful for me. So if you're worried about that, there is a solution there. Okay. Mark has finished. Have you used architecture decision records before? I have not. I do not know what this is. Oh, it's just, oh, yeah, sure. It's just like a way to decide or to write down the decisions that you've made. We actually do this. I don't do it anymore because I'm not working at Remix, but Remix does this. We have decision documents, and you can look through. Do not clone request. Here's why we don't do that anymore, I guess. Yeah, bunch of stuff in here. So yes, I think the concept is very good. Here, and actually I'll just link to this in reply. Can I recommend it? Yes, I think it's great, especially for teams and especially for projects you plan on living for a long time. I strongly advise the use of these decision documents. Yep, it's a good idea. Okay, we got Joseph. This is what normally happens is office hours starts out kind of slow, and then we're like, okay, I guess we're done. And then everybody starts tuning in. They're like, I've got a question too. So that's fine. I started 28 minutes late, so we still have another half hour. So I'm happy to just hang out. Okay, Joseph, oftentimes deeply nested routes all need access to the same resource, like a user ID. If you're pulling from a database, will Remix make a request for each loader? Is there a method for unifying the requests? Common question, great question. So first, no, Remix will not unify the request. Remix will make a request for every loader. And so, yes, that means that every loader, when called in parallel, will be reading the database to get the user information. Before everybody starts freaking out about how terrible this is, keep in mind that this is how everything normally, like your typical spa app works. Like you make a request for this resource and that resource and that resource. Those are all hitting your serverless functions because you're like hot and loving that and whatever, and you're doing all the cool new stuff. Every one of those serverless functions is doing exactly the same thing. So Remix is no worse off in this world. That said, there are a couple of ways you can work around this for if it's really important to you. So for one, you could just use Express middleware, or even better, just wait a couple of days, I think, and maybe a week, and Remix will have a new feature that they are calling middleware, but it doesn't work anything like traditional middleware that you've seen. It's way, way better. So let me show you the proposal, Remix middleware. So this is how this is going to work. And in fact, I believe, here, I'll stick this in here. I believe that this has already been merged into React Router. So if we go to, is this going to be in, I'm trying to remember. No, it's not going to show up in here. It is in an experimental release. I think the best place to find it would be in the pull request for it. Man, where is this going to be? Okay, no, that's not going to be it. Let's see if we can find stuff by Brophy. Oh, here it is. It's not been merged yet, but I thought it was in, I thought there was an experimental, maybe there is. But here's the PR in React Router. So you can take a look at how it works in here. It's great. Fantastic, even if you, no, not raw, you file, then you can get syntax highlighting and stuff. So I'll stick that in here. Yeah, it works really well. You have this context. So in Remix, we're going to have conventions and things that you export and whatnot. In React Router, you like manually wire up those things. So you've got this middleware thing. It gets the request and context. And I think it actually just gets all the same arguments you get for data function args. So request, context, and params. And then you can do all of your stuff right here. And like this will all run before this route and all of its children, anytime any of its children are run. So you want this to run as fast as possible. Don't put unnecessary stuff in here. But then you can do context.set. You pass a special context object, which is this create middleware context. So set, and then the context, I think this is probably just a symbol. It's just a way to differentiate different context values. And then you pass in what you want for the value of that specific context. And then you call context.next to let the children run. And then you can do whatever else you want to the response that you get back, like adding headers, and then return the response. So in some ways, this kind of feels like generators because you're kind of yielding to this and then continuing. Anyway, that's the idea. And then in any of the loaders, you get the context and you say context get to get the value out. So I see this would probably be a really common pattern for apps that are like, here's our marketing pages and here's our authenticated pages, and the parent route for all the authenticated pages has a middleware that exports a middleware that handles all of that. This also will apply for actions as well. You'll have action middleware. I'm not sure how it's going to, like if you'll have middleware and action middleware or what that's going to be. But anyway, it's great. Really, really good. So I would just continue as you are. You're probably fine. And then wait for like a couple weeks, and then we'll have this. Yeah, so as far as caching the request under a key, so there's one request made. Yeah, totally. If you want to do something like that and you don't want to wait or something, I actually do something kind of similar to that in my KCD. Oh yeah, and it used to be called before loaders. That's yeah. I think they're going to call it middleware, but maybe it is going to be called before loader. I don't know. But yeah, so I have this apps server thing. This is for my workshop app. So it's like reading the file system, doing a ton of stuff, doing like git diffs and copying entire project directories and diffing between these two. Like it's a bunch of stuff. And it's very cool, but it's also quite slow. And so I just had an idea to make some of it faster. But what I do here, oh, and the other thing is get apps, which does like a bunch of stuff. This function is called could be called even 12 times in the body of a single request for a single loader. And so that's not cool, right? I could probably optimize that a fair bit, but like get apps is called by itself sometimes in the loader, but it's also called by get exercise app and get apps by name and get app by ID, all this stuff. So that's why it can be called so many times. So what I did is I created, I used this module that was extracted from my website called Cachified, and I specified key apps. And then my time to live is just within the body of a single request. Like, so I don't ever expect a request to take more than 300 milliseconds. So I just set it to that. And so then when the first request comes in, it starts getting the fresh value, the slow stuff. And then other requests start coming in to go get the same stuff. And they're all like, oh, this is already, Cachified says, oh, we're already getting that. So hold off. And then that comes back and then it sends it back for all of them. So this is a good way to sidestep that issue. Works really well for me. So that is that. Is fetching 5 to 6 fetch requests in an API affect app performance? Sure, it does. The more you do anything, the slower it's going to be. So don't do any fetch requests and your app will be very fast, but it also might not do anything. If you're talking about relative, what you need is, I need this functionality and I've got 2 options to do it. Which one is better? So yeah, do less things and it will be faster. If you can make them run concurrently, then that's also good. So yeah, I can't give much more advice than that. How can I trigger a function from another file in React? You would import that function and call it. So I do that sort of thing all the time. So if we go, here's my in-browser browser, I've got this function typed Boolean. That's a bad example, but yeah, there we go. Thing. There you go. So you import it using the path. Yeah, this is a bad example because that is using a alias thing. But anyway, using modules, that's the answer to your question. And yeah, that looks like that's it. I actually do need to run. I've got to look over something. So thanks everybody for joining. And next week I will be in Austria. And I just found out this morning that tickets for the conference are sold out. So that's exciting. If you are sad about that, then go to kcd.im/map and you'll see all the other places that I'm going this year. So you can meet me in the Canary Islands or in London, or if this is the area of the world you're in and you're like, oh, I can't make it Agent Conf, I'm going to be in Zurich for Front Conference. So that'll be fun. And also Miami. And there are, I feel like I might have accepted another, but anyway, oh yeah, I should probably put Remix Conf in here. So lots of opportunities to still come and see me, even if you missed Agent Conf. So again, ask any follow-up questions or anything on the calls, the Call Kent podcast, and I will do my best to answer. And if you have any last questions for office hours, you can ask those in the Discord. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all